It's showtime, folks. Welcome in, Chasing Big Joe, 1025, 1063, the game here on this Reaction Monday. Titans lose again. He's Big Joe. I'm Chase McCabe. Dr. Crane Nick Frazier is back at the studio because, Joe, we're not in Nashville. We're not in Tennessee.
We're not. We're not. We've taken our talents to South Beach, right? As they said. No, we were down here. We went down to MTSU football, and then we kind of stayed a few days, and we came down here to the Keys and just why not, right? We're just here. We're here. And so we'll come back in town late tomorrow night, but we're going to join it here. So we're having fun. We're at the Hogfish Barn Grill here in Key West. Gracious enough to have our silly staff here. So we're going to have a fun show today, and we're going to cry. We're going to laugh. We're going to have all the emotions.
Oh, yeah. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We want you to interact with us as always. 615-737-1025. That's 615-737-1025. I'm fighting off what everybody else is fighting off, the crud, cold, whatever that's going around.
You're doing fine, though, buddy.
Thank you. So if I cough in the middle of the show,
that's okay. You know, a cure for that is sleep. So you need to sleep more. Folks, if you don't know what a passenger princess is, look up that word in the dictionary or wherever. Just Google that word, and Chase McCabe's picture will pop up. This guy falls asleep in the car when you turn the car on. He'll sleep for hours and then argue that he's not asleep after you take 10 pictures of him that he is sleeping.
Joe was nice enough to document it.
Oh, my goodness.
Hey, you know what? I've been that way since I was a kid. You know, just kind of get on the road and
right. That's all right, man.
So, but anyway, a consultant somewhere is saying, get to the content. So that's what we'll do. Titans lose in Washington. We sat and watched the game yesterday, looked at each other at the end of the first quarter, and just went, it's 28-0.
Yeah. I mean, it was something. We watched it in a restaurant in Key West with about 12 other fan bases of different teams around. They were all cheering and clapping. Vikings, Steelers, Bengals, Falcons, Chargers. You know what fan base was not cheering in that restaurant? Us.
No.
We had nothing to cheer for.
No, the Vikings fans were cheering every time they snapped the ball.
Right. But we did come to the conclusion and you guys can get on us, and that's okay. But Will Levis, I'm telling you, he's proven something these last couple of weeks.
So I want to start there. Do I think Will Levis is the franchise game-changing Hall of Fame, insert Hall of Famer's name here type quarterback? No. But has he shown me enough in the last month to make me think if he's the guy in 2025, I'm going to be okay with that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he has. I think him sitting out for those handful of games, healing, watching Mason Rudolph, I think that has helped him. And another thing that I don't think is going to get enough credit that has helped him.
Say it.
The head coach has gotten better.
Amen, brother.
Brian Callahan as a play caller has gotten better. He has grown into that role. And I think now he understands, what Will Levis is, and he's scheming to that to make it work. Yesterday, he had no protection. His receivers dropped the ball. I mean, he had hardly anything. I'm not going to put that on him.
No.
So and if you do, then you're lazy and you're not watching.
Well, 18 of 37, 212 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions.
Yes.
Behind that offensive line, which I still don't know how he goes out there behind that offensive line. He's got to say 20 Hail Marys before he gets out there because
that offensive line is terrible.
And Latham's regressed a little bit, and Skoronski, he's had a lot of no pressures in the last 5 games. Some dumb stat I saw, still can't run block, still can't get out there and do anything. But Levis is fighting for his. Every time you see him, he's fighting. I got no problem with him. And you're right. A good point is Callahan is getting a little bit better each week as a play caller. And look, yesterday was terrible. The defense was terrible. I mean, they were terrible. There's no doubt about that. But Levis kind of kept it competitive for a little bit. So I'm with you, man, 100% on that.
This was an interesting tweet that Terry McCormick from Titan Insider put out last night. He's covered the team since day one. Will Levis last 4 games projected out over a 17-game season. So it's not an exact science, but I thought it was interesting. 302 of 489, which would be 61.9%. 30 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 4,080 yards.
It's pretty good.
If you got the okay, well, say what you said to me when I read that to you last night. What did you say?
I was like, really? Was that what I said?
No,
I was like, it's not
you
bad.
You said that's Favre.
No, that is
You
Favre.
said it's Favre.
I'm telling you,
That's
man.
the comparison that you have been using. Not saying he is Brett Favre.
No.
Just saying that looking at Brett Favre in his first year and a half as a quarterback was awful.
Yep.
And then something kind of clicked, and then that's what you got.
Yeah, Favre played half of the year 92 when Don Mikowski got knocked out. His really first full year going into camp, everything was 93. That was him. I mean, he threw interceptions left and right, Favre did, but he'd have a 70-yard shot down the field like, oh, there's something there. I'm telling you, man, I'm not a quarterback guru, but there's a little something there with Will Levis. You could argue us all day long, but you get behind that atrocious offensive line, receivers dropping passes, and you give him that good stuff, I think he's got a good quarterback, and he's going to be really good. They just got to give him time. And look, this season's a disaster now, and I just play in these last 5 games. Let him go, man.
As Mike Herndon put on Twitter, the last 4 weeks for Levis, 71 of 115, 61.7 completion percentage. Not awful.
Right.
960 yards, 8.3 yards per attempt, 7 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, a 101.3 passer rating.
Take it. I'll take it right now.
If you had, you take that, and if you have obviously guys that catch the ball and actually complete the catch yesterday, a defense, this, and I'm not going to completely rag on the defense yesterday because you know how this works, that if special teams is committing mistakes and the defense can't get off the field. They were gassed by the end of the first quarter because they couldn't get off the field.
Right.
And so therefore mistakes just compounded more mistakes, but the defense isn't great. So if you fix all that stuff, and that's easier said than done. That's why I'm a proponent of, if this team ends up picking in the top 5 and can parlay that into more draft capital to fill some of these holes, I'm doing it.
I'm with you.
And I'm not thinking about a quarterback. Now, you want to go sign a better backup that can be an insurance policy, a la a Ryan Tannehill, like you did, John Robinson did years ago. Fine, you can do that. That I don't have an issue with that.
What are we going to?
But I'm going into 2025 thinking Will Levis is the starting quarterback.
What are we going to do about NWI?
You need to figure out a way to keep him.
Yeah, right. 2 touchdowns yesterday. He's always open.
Now, look, that said, I think you're seeing his ceiling, but that's a guy you want on your team. He doesn't quit, and I love how Teron uses the analogy, calls him a Honda Accord, because he's just built different. That's just how he is, and he's embraced that too. So no, I'm doing whatever I can to keep him. Go ahead and get that deal done.
Same, and that's one reason Jerry Rice was so good when he was a receiver, because he had John Taylor. Nobody remembers John Taylor. Like always, yeah. Rice, Montana. John Taylor caught the game-winning touchdown in the Super Bowl versus the Bengals in that one year. So you need a guy like NWI who's gonna take him for granted. Let other teams take him for granted on Sunday and let him go out there and do what he does. He's just always open.
If you let him get to the open market, he's going to get receiver 2 money, which is overpaying him. But
right.
That's what he's going to get. Good for him. I don't blame him. Get the bag, man.
I'm with you, brother.
I don't blame him at all. But
I'm with you.
It's just funny. It's just like sitting there going, okay, well, they lost again. I almost looked at it as, I just felt bad for Will Levis. I really did. Like, the kid's out there giving it and I've never questioned his effort.
Right.
If you think I have, then you have misheard me.
No,
I have
man,
never, ever questioned his effort. I questioned the decision making. And look, that's not perfect. That's gotten better, but it's still not perfect. So, and I don't know if it ever will be, but that's why the comparison you use of, that was Brett Favre his whole career, was the gunslinger.
Yeah.
That's just what he was.
Do you want him to be compared to Brett Favre or some other quarterback who had flashed for 1 year and went off into the sunset? No, he's got a cannon arm. He's hard-headed. I got no problem with it. So now you ride out, you got, who's come? The Jags come to town.
Yeah.
on Sunday.
Which they're probably not going to have Trevor Lawrence.
Nope. And we'll get in that in a little bit
Yeah.
about the hit.
Yeah.
Somebody made a good point about the hit and the repercussion of that hit that I want to bring up later on. But look, you got 5 games left. Really true, nothing to lose. And I like the way they're doing things now with him the last couple of games with Levis. Let him ride out there. Let him have fun. Unleash him. Open the playbook again, and get it done. But that defense yesterday, I saw so many guys standing around when Jaden Daniels ran that one. They're in the National Football League. A quarterback should not be able to run that into the end zone and have the Titans guys just Harrell, number 92. I had no idea he was on the team. Just kind of stood there like, I'm going to watch this front row seat.
Yeah.
Like, just join us in the restaurant. Join us in the restaurant if you don't mind, because you're not doing anything out there. But the defense was embarrassing yesterday after coming off a decent performance last week down in Houston. And Simmons starting crap in the middle again. Just play the game, man.
Yeah.
Just play the game.
I have a problem with some of the things that were said after the game.
Oh, yes.
I have a major problem.
This is great.
With some of the things that were said after the game. We will get to that and much more coming up next. It's Chase and Big Joe. We're live in Key West, Florida today at Hogfish Bar and Grill, 1025, 1063 The Game.
wasn't about nobody being immature. At the end of the day, we just have to learn how to shake and like just say, okay, yes, we won. But can we build off that? We have a lot of young players, but at the end of the day, like I said, it's everybody's job to be able to, come ready to play again. This is the National Football League. They lost 3 in a row. They coming hungry for a win as well. So at the end of the day, like I said, we was hungover. We was hungover from a success from last week, and that showed in the first half. Coming out 28-0, like I said, it's going to be hard to win this league. So.
That was Jeffrey Simmons after the loss yesterday, chasing Big Joe here on this Monday, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. We're live in Key West, the Hogfish Bar and Grill on Stock Island.
Shout out to the Ocean's Edge Key West Resort. Thank you for housing the Chase and Big Joe show. 175 rooms and suites, stunning ocean views, 6 saltwater pools. You got free kayaking, paddleboarding, yoga, shuttles every hour to Key West. That's the Ocean's Edge Key West. You can find them online at oceansedgekeywest.com. And I got to tell you, Chase, you woke up this morning and the views at the hotel were amazing. So thank you, Ocean's Edge Key West.
Yeah, and watching you kayak, that was fun.
Did you like that?
Yeah, that was good.
Thank you so much, buddy.
Proud of you.
I know what I'm doing.
You hear those comments from Jeffrey Simmons. There were others coming out last night that, Kenneth Murray said he didn't know exactly what it was, but something was definitely up at the beginning of the game. There were others that said maybe the cold got to them. I heard that, and I was like, you've got to be bleeping kidding me.
Oh my goodness.
Like, are you serious right now with this? Like, I'm not faulting Jeffrey Simmons for his comment. I think he was stating a fact. What I'm mad about is that it happened.
Yeah.
And it sounded like he was too. Saying that there was a hangover from the win against the Texans that carried over, and they got to do better at that. That I'm not mad. I mean, I'm mad that was the result.
Yeah.
I'm not mad about the comment because I think he was being serious. And so I appreciate that honesty. But saying that the cold got to you?
Yeah, that's something. I mean, come on, right?
Like,
I mean, that is you. I mean,
like newsflash, it was about the same temperature in Nashville as it was in Washington.
right. And also, isn't it cold for Washington?
Yeah.
For the
I
Commanders,
know.
they're
Like,
cold
whenever
too.
if I ever hear a team goes, yeah, we weren't used to the cold, I'm like, well, you think they are?
Yeah.
Just because they live in it, you think they're out in it 24/7?
I just think it's a modicum of I don't care,
Yeah.
and I'm cold, and I don't want to do the effort. I mean, it definitely showed sometimes on defense. The effort was not there yesterday for this football team, but using the cold, and a lot of guys standing around. Yeah, I know it's cold. Yeah, I get it. But you're paying to play football. You have a job to do. You know who the leading tackler was yesterday for the Titans?
Who?
Daryl Worley, who I had no idea was on this football team.
He is, yeah.
He had 17 tackles. You know what position Daryl Worley plays?
Corner.
Cornerback.
Yeah.
I've never seen a cornerback have 17 tackles in a game. Never.
They just got him a couple of weeks ago. He was big in the Texans game.
I've never seen a cornerback get 7. That means that your linebackers aren't getting the job done. Now, I'm not going to blame the defensive line because the defensive line, we know this, your job is to keep guys off your linebackers to make plays. But Kenneth Murray had 10 tackles. But you had a cornerback who made 17 tackles yesterday. That shows how awful your defense was on Sunday. That should never happen.
Yeah, there was and you can weigh in 615-737-1025, our phone and text line, driven by WilsonCountyHonda.com. Caleb in Mount Juliet said you cannot blame that loss on all on the offense or Levis. The blame, which we weren't, the blame lies totally on the best defense from the start of the game. Oh, yeah, also the most penalized team made stupid penalties key times of the game. Who would have thought it? So Caleb obviously upset there. But you're right. I mean, I do blame the defense.
Yeah, we didn't blame the offense one bit.
No. And I think he's just saying you can't, nobody should do that.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But no, we definitely.
I mean, you got gashed by a rookie yesterday. I mean, he's a good rookie, don't get me wrong, but he's still a rookie.
Daniels.
And he's gashing your team up and down the field yesterday. Yeah, there were guys that were wide open. Ertz on the touchdown, wide open. Some guys were wide open yesterday. So what is that? That's a lack of discipline. You're not covering this in practice. So it's almost a 180 for what we saw in Houston to what we saw yesterday in Washington. That shouldn't happen. Good football teams are consistent. Titans are consistently bad. That's what a bad football team does.
They
This
are.
is- ugh.
And there was a comment earlier that I said the coach had gotten better and that, being a good play caller doesn't make you a good head coach. No, you're right. It doesn't. But, I mean, that is a big part of the job he's here to do. And I think he's improved there. As for being a head coach, I mean, if he's got his guys saying that, the cold got to him, then, yeah, I'm going to put that on him a little bit. Like, hey, you need to coach your guys up and toughen them up a little bit.
And not have them practice all week in shorts and outside for a couple hours.
Yeah.
But then they will go to call this NFLPA and we're practicing too hard and it's cold outside.
You know what? I just remember, you and I both worked with Brad Hopkins. And I remember a story that he told about that. It was kind of a rule that I think Bruce Matthews put in place. Whatever you wear in August is what you're going to wear in December. So if you don't like the cold and you want to wear sleeves, that's fine. But you're wearing them in August.
Right.
You couldn't have it both ways. So that was the mentality of those guys then. And look how good they were. I feel like that's gone.
Oh, I think after the 2011 collective bargaining agreement,
I agree.
Things went straight to where, because it's like, we don't want to practice so hard and we don't want to do this so hard and we don't want to tackle in practice and we'll just use the tackling dummies. And I think it lost the edge in pro football after that lockout in 2011. And you're seeing it now on a lot of things. You see a lot of guys standing around that just don't care. And look, I'm an effort guy, man.
Yeah.
I like effort. If you're getting your butt kicked, but you're giving me effort, then I'm okay.
Right.
I'm okay, because effort's going to overtake a few things and make you play really well. But when you're just standing around and you're not fighting and you're not going after it, that's why you talk about Deion going to the pros. That's why Deion would not go to. He said so.
Yeah,
those guys,
right? Because because of the effort.
Yeah, they make more money than I am. They're not going to listen to me. I'm like, you're exactly right.
Well, like I can remember my mom or my dad, like after I would do something and, if it didn't go well and I'd be disappointed and they'd look at me and they'd go, let me ask you an honest question. Do you think you gave your best? And I'd say, yeah. And like, if you really think that, and that was, and you gave your best, you gave it your all and it just didn't work out, then okay, that's, you did it. You put the effort in.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're just,
that's it.
That's just life.
I had a coach who told me in junior college, football coach said, go every night before you go to bed, look in the mirror and say, did I do everything I did today to get better? Yep. Answer it honestly. He goes, and you will answer it honestly, and you figure things out how they go. He also said, if what you did yesterday still looks good today, you haven't done much. And I took that with me through my whole life. If what you did yesterday still looks good today, you haven't done much. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Couldn't stand that coach, but we all respected him. And now we all look back like, man, we love that guy.
615-737-1025. Thomas wants to weigh in on the Titans. Thomas, what's up?
Yeah, she just did it, but I'm saying, how long has she been outside?
Thomas?
Quit yelling at your wife.
I'm sorry. Yes, I need to talk to someone so maybe the coach, maybe you guys can get through to the coaches, because the Titans offense doesn't seem to be clicking. 17 points a game over the last X amount of years is why this team is mediocre. They need to go and look at some of the higher scoring teams or something and see what the past maybe 10 Super Bowl winners, look at their point total, or, something has to change. You can't be a run first team if the offensive line is not allowing it. So maybe they could throw the ball 30 to 40 times a game, which seems to be what they're going to need to do, because Pollard and Spears are more so scat backs than power backs. Eddie George is not there no more, and all the big boys are not there. So something has to change, or we're going to be mired in obscurity from now on with these crappy records if they don't do something to put more points on the game. So, 17 to 20 points a game is may win you 6 or 7 games a year. Other than that, you tell me what you think the solution is, because I don't see it unless they can, rework the offense and try to at least, throw the ball more. 24 to 27 points a game should do it if they can figure out how to do it.
All right, Thomas, hold on. I'm going to give you, you talk about going back to the last 10 Super Bowls. Do you know those 10 Super Bowls? I'm going to give you 2 reasons why those teams won the Super Bowls: Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady. Titans don't have Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady. You have to have a quarterback surrounded by good talent to win games. Those guys do. Right now, Will Levis is not on that level. There's just no talent around him, buddy, and you see it every Sunday, and it's kind of sad.
You know, but why spend all that money to get Ridley and Boyd? And then, you know what? I know D-Hop was, I mean, I'm sorry, Hopkins, DeAndre, when he left, he probably couldn't wait to get out of fast enough when he saw the sinking ship. Now look where he's at. He's, you know, every day he's like, oh my God, thank goodness I got to a winner, because no matter what they were paying him, you know, you want to win no matter what kind of money you make it, and to be admired in a losing cause constantly kind of weighs on you. You know, it's got to be depressing in the locker room, no matter what you're getting paid to get your ass. I'm sorry, get your butt kicked constantly. Every now and then you show flashes of brilliance, but other than that, you know, there's like, you know, you're like the team that they schedule when they want to win. You know, hey man, let's make sure we schedule the Titans, because you know that's almost like a guaranteed penciled-in win. You know, unless they happen to show up and show out one day. So that's what I'm looking at. I mean, I'm a Patriots fan for life, but I'm a hometown Titans team. I want them to do well, but you know, I don't want us being like the laughing stock of the league.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for the call, Thomas. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you, buddy.
I mean, the 17 points a game thing is true. I mean, the numbers don't lie in that sense of when, you know, they score over 20, they win, or they're right in the game. But yesterday was just a microcosm of all the problems that they've had, you know, throughout this season.
We were watching that, man, and you commented like, I don't think they want to be there, and I was like,
yeah.
I mean, how sad is that when you say that about a football team? I don't think they want to be there. I mean, do you think you apply that to Derek Mason and to Chris Sanders? Those guys,
they're not wired that way.
They're great point. They're not wired that way, and I can't wait to hear Derek Mason at 11 o'clock today. After that effort we saw yesterday, I mean, that was something.
Yeah, for sure. 615-737-1025. Keep the calls and the texts coming. Reacting to the Titans and their loss to the Commanders, 42-19, the final score yesterday. They did get over 17 points, so good for that. But in a losing effort.
Progress.
We will continue to discuss that coming up. Brett Kern also at the top of the next hour. We're live in Key West, Florida today at Hogfish Bar and Grill here on Stock Island, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Well, just in terms of last week, it felt like there was so much progress with this team over the last few weeks, leading to win over a division rival. Did it almost feel like today was a bit of a reversion, and how frustrating is that to see that win?
Not a reversion, just a missed opportunity to get better and to keep building off that. So, we're not going to let it kick us back down the hill. We've already come so far, and we know that. We just got to keep doing the right things and doing them on Sunday. Felt like we had a good week of practice, but just didn't transition to the field.
That was Will Levis yesterday after the Titans lost to the Washington Commanders. Chasing Big Joe, presented by the Omni Nashville Hotel. We're live today. Where, Joe?
At Hogfish Bar and Grill on Stock Island, right outside of Key West. And we're very gracious for Bobby, the owner, for having a couple of knuckleheads ruin their lunchtime today. So thank you very much to everybody here at Hogfish Bar and Grill. Captain Touchback on Twitter says, you guys are being kind of harsh about the team. Didn't hear Simmons tell you the team was hungover from last week's win? You can't expect to win 2 weeks in a row. Come on.
I know. You're right. Captain Touchback, you're right.
Hungover. Did he say that?
Yeah.
That's so bad. Uh-oh, he might come after us now. Watch out now.
Be careful.
Yeah, you won't say that to his face. You want to bet?
How much you got, big boy?
You want to bet?
615-737-1025. It's funny reading, some of the comments too. Dustin says NWI left his lunch pail at home. His mom brought it to him mid-game. I mean, I think NWI had a good game.
Yeah.
Had 2 touchdowns.
He did. Here's something else, Chase. Get your opinion on this. Jaden Daniels was 25 of 30 yesterday. Now, I get it when you're 15 of 18, but when you cross the 20 attempt threshold and you're only 5 incompletions, what is that telling you? He's 25 of 30 yesterday, which is just absolutely blows my mind. There's another stat watch me too. Titans had 12 penalties, 93 yards, but it was, where did it go, man? That I saw this. I had it gone. Oh, Redskins. Commanders had 77 plays. Guess how many plays the Titans had?
I don't know.
50.
Good Lord.
They had 27 more opportunities to move the ball down the field. And finally, I'm not a stat guy because that's a lot of things for nerds. But anyway, they had 29 first downs. The Titans had 12.
Yeah.
I mean, you were just beating. Your defense was just beaten yesterday in every aspect of the game.
Yeah. And I know NWI dropped 3 passes. Thank you, Dustin.
Did he?
He did. But he still had 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, he did. I mean, he scored the week before.
That gives you a little bit of cachet. I like your new beanie, by the way.
Thank you. It's Middle Tennessee football.
Yeah, that's good.
By the way, FIU fired Mike McIntyre yesterday.
Yeah, kind of figured that.
Brentwood Academy guy.
Yeah.
All right, put that to the side.
Yeah. It's that time of year with coaches.
Oh, yeah, and more are going to start to fall.
Yeah.
More and more and more. And the
There's gonna be some
dominoes.
jobs open.
Yep.
Open up. That is for sure. 615-737-1025. Dylan wants to weigh in on the Titans. Dylan, what's up?
Hey, how you guys doing today?
We're good.
Hey, yeah, I called in on the midday show like last week or maybe the week before.
We love them.
But I'll just say it again. So the Titans, like and the fans, we all want Will Levis to be the Batman building, downtown. But we've provided him with mud for the foundation. And so I feel like it's hard to set expectations for him and to watch him grow and lead a team that is so unstable and has no pieces around him. And so I just want to, I don't know. I don't really know where I was going with that, but basically just, an unstable organization from the top down. And I believe that it was time to move on from Mike Vrabel after the John Robinson situation. I feel like there was kind of nowhere positive that was going to go with John Robinson leaving. But I just kind of miss how Vrabel would get these no-name people to get up and fight week in and week out. And like you guys are talking about, these guys they just don't want to be here. I mean, NWI, Amani Hooker, Levis, those guys seem like they are fighting play in and play out, but the rest of the team is kind of just here for the paychecks in a way. And I just kind of want to get you guys' thoughts on that. But
that's a good point, Dylan. Thanks for the call. I do think, and that's where I think Brian Callahan is going to have to grow as a head coach. The one thing about Vrabel, and you're going to see this wherever he ends up, Chicago, wherever he ends up, you're going to see that he's going to pull the best out of you. Now, I think there is an expiration date on that. I think we kind of saw it, that it does get maybe tiring after a while, because the same intensity he had as a player is the same intensity as he has as a coach. But it worked. And I mean, you look at that year where they had 90-something players on the roster and guys you have never heard of that were,
21 season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they ended up with the number 1 seed. I mean, he pulled everything he could out of those guys, and he was great at it. So I give him a ton of credit. And so that is something that you certainly miss without Mike Vrabel.
You brought that up. What was good about doing that was Bill Belichick. When a big contract came up, what did Belichick do? See ya.
Thanks for everything.
Yeah. It would find those guys who really
he did
felt
it to Vrabel.
Yes, he sure did.
He traded
Lawyer Malloy. There's a lot of guys. Richard Seymour.
Yeah.
He did it because he knows on that second contract that effort's not going to be there. He just knows that. And it's not more, I've never seen it more evident now, Chase, in the National Football League than this time, the 2024. Guys have second contracts. He's like, okay, I got my money. And Belichick was good about that. Vrabel was the same way. Daryl Worley, 17 tackles. He's a hell of a singer.
He would love him.
He's a hell of a singer, right? I loved his album. Have we forgotten whatever that song was? I mean,
Have you forgotten? Yeah.
Yeah. So, but Daryl Worley comes. So these guys want opportunities.
Yeah.
And you're making the most of the opportunities. Real quick, I think we're misusing J.C. Latham, because my calculation, he's got more catches on the year than Traylon Burks.
He does.
I mean, does Traylon Burks still on the team?
I don't know. I think he's on IR.
Is he on IR? Okay,
yeah, he's on some milk cartons.
He is on IR.
Yeah. He is, okay. Well,
that play yesterday, that the ball gets batted down and JC just like grabs it.
We both
he would go for it too.
We're both like, go, 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 go. That was the only time when you really got to cheer inside the restaurant when everybody else was cheering for any other team that was going on.
Can I just say, you and I are two larger individuals, that whenever I see a big boy get a play like that, I get so excited. Like the dude in Seattle yesterday.
Yeah.
They had to give him oxygen on the sideline.
You were screaming like, big boy touchdown.
Yeah, big boy touchdown.
It's like, calm down, man.
I love the
He
big boy
was
touchdown.
just rambling down the field there. But I don't know. But these guys getting these second chances, not second contract, but second chances, can make a difference on your football team. We see it. And I guess when Vrabel gets that job, Vegas.
You say Vegas.
I say Vegas. With Tom Brady. I think he gets the job with Tom Brady. I think that's where he lands.
Interesting.
That's a whole nother show topic that we could do.
There's going to be a lot of, now that Eberflus is out in Chicago, I would say Doug Peterson's days are numbered. And Jacksonville, I don't know if they do it this week with Trevor getting hurt, but
right.
You never know.
Speaking of that, when we come back, if you make me commissioner for the football NFL for one day, here's the first thing that I do in regards to Trevor Lawrence. And I'm telling you, if they do this, you'll never see that stupid, nasty, dumb hit that Lawrence got from Aziz Al-Shurur yesterday, which was awful. And I'm telling you, man, this would work.
I didn't even need a tease. You took it. That was good.
Thank
I
you,
didn't
buddy.
even have to come up with one.
You're welcome.
615-737-1025. We'll do that and much more next. Chasing Big Joe live in Key West, Hogfish Bar and Grill on Stock Island, 1025, 1063 The Game.
People blown away. Have you forgotten when those towers fell?
There's Daryl Worley. Jason Big Joe. 102.5, 106.3 the game.
On the Opry stage on Saturday night, making 17 tackles on a Sunday. I had no idea that guy was on the team.
I think they just signed him a couple weeks ago.
I mean, 17 tackles yesterday.
Good pull,
Amazing.
Dr.
Well done, Dr. Crane. Hey, the Chase and Big Joe show on the road. Many thanks to Ocean's Edge Key West for housing us for a few days down here. Beautiful resort, 175 rooms and suites. Stunning ocean views. 6 saltwater pools, free kayaking, paddleboarding, and yoga. Shuttles every hour downtown to Key West. And I say, when you want an incredible trip but don't have a passport, you need to come here to Ocean's Edge Key West. You can find all about them at oceansedgekeywest.com. And I'm telling you, my friends, it is the perfect place to stay. It is beautiful.
Yes, indeed it is. So there was a play yesterday in the Jags-Texans game in which former Titan, now with the Texans, Azeez Al-Shire, he hit Trevor Lawrence, quarterback of the Jags, in the head while he was going down to slide. It was an illegal hit. There's awful hit. There's no question about it. Now, look, I don't think that guys in their head go, you know what? I'm going to give him a concussion. Like I don't think that happens at all. But it was an illegal hit. There's no doubt. Both coaches commented on it. Doug Peterson of the Jags said, quote, "It's a play that has no business in our league." And then D'Amico Ryan said, quote, "It's not what we coach. It's not a representative of who Azeez is. He's a smart player, really great leader for us. We felt his presence not being there. But it's not what we coach." It was a bad play.
It's a bad play. It's a dumb play. And then he leveled Lawrence, and he got it like, well, what did I do wrong? His hands up. Right. What did I do wrong?
He got ejected. A couple of others got ejected because a fight broke out as it should have. But he did apologize this morning. I'm not going to read the whole thing.
No, it's too late.
But he did say that, look, I'm going to hit you as hard as I can. I hope you get up, but it was not my intent to hurt Trevor.
Really? When the guy starts sliding and do all that?
Yeah.
Terrible. Here's how you stop that. All right. Azeez Al-Shire or whatever. Shire. Azeez Al-Shire doesn't come back to play until Trevor Lawrence is cleared.
Ooh.
You're out the same time the guy you hit's out if that's an illegal hit. So if Lawrence is out 2 games,
okay,
you're out 2 games. And you're out 2 games, you lose your paycheck. These guys, all they care about is money. All they want is their money. You take their money away from them, it wakes them up. I've covered the league far too long.
Can I add a little caveat to it?
Sure.
What if you? So I think he should get like 4 games. I think he probably gets 2. What if you said it's a 2 games? It's either however long Trevor's out, or you have to put a number on it, because what if Trevor it wasn't as bad as it looked,
right?
And he's cleared and can play this week.
Okay,
I think Al-Shire should be suspended. He should definitely be suspended.
Yeah.
So at least 2 games, or however long as
the guy's
Trevor's
out. I totally agree. I totally agree with that. That'll stop all that. That's
right.
And don't tell me somebody said no. It's like, hey, well, he gave himself up the last second. You still don't need to go for his head, and you're smart.
He was going for that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think intentionally or not, that's where he hit.
Yep.
And it was bad. And I mean, it was a scary look because Trevor was just, laying there you could tell.
Laid him out. And so your apology falls on deaf ears. So you hit him right in the pocketbook. That way they'll be like, okay, I get it now. You take their money away from them. That hits them really hard. And so I'm not saying it's going to stop all of it. But I think in the back of my mind, I'm going after a guy like, man, if I hit this guy wrong, I'll be out for a while. Be legal about it and don't do something stupid.
Yeah.
It's that. We saw a play yesterday where they shoved the guy out of bounds. He was 3 yards into the white, and they shoved him. I forget what game it was. And they got a hit now, unsportsmanlike conduct for hitting you out late and out of bounds. I'm like, when are these guys going to stop doing that? I don't think they ever are.
No, and again, there's a difference to me in going hard to the whistle or through the whistle. You know, coaches will tell you play through the whistle.
Yeah.
There's a difference in doing that and then just being reckless.
No,
And that was
absolutely.
a reckless play.
That was very reckless.
Like we know way too much now about what concussions can do to you long term.
Yep.
Not just in the moment, long term.
yes.
And,
Oh, yeah.
And like, you know, how many has Aziz Al Shire had in his career? I don't know. I don't think he knows.
Yep. Look,
You know?
look, football has never been as safe as it is now with the equipment and the helmets. I got those helmets on my desk. You've seen those. Those things are like tanks, but still, avoid hitting the head. Avoid doing all that stuff. You can be coached, you can be taught. It's got to be started at the pee-wee level and moved up. I mean, there are going to still be boneheads who are going to take out quarterbacks and knock people out, running backs, using, you know, with their helmet and helmet-to-helmet contact. But still, you got to stop doing that, and you got to make it hurt for the guy that did the hit. And so that's what I kind of suggest.
This is an interesting text, 7008. What about those bang helmet to helmet plays in the secondary? There's a lot of head hunting that goes on out there, but there's a lot of accidental hits too.
That's why they stop the defensive receiver. You can't leave your feet. So
Yeah.
if you come across the middle and I could lay you out and you're catching the ball and I'm not taking your head off and I hit you in the chest or something like that, I'm fine with that. But if you launch, that's the
Yeah.
thing. Back when we played, I mean, you could launch 10 yards away and it was like applauded. Now it's none of that. There's no launching.
Yeah, and I agree. And I mean, look, you're not going to be able to completely take it out. You're just not. I mean, like it's a violent sport. That's kind of what you sign up for.
Yes, it is.
But I think you can be smarter about certain plays.
Did you agree with me? I think you've agreed with me on my rule for pass interference.
Get rid of it.
Get rid of it. Get rid of it. I mean, on both sides. If
Yeah.
I'm an offensive guy, I can shove you to get the ball. And if you are a defensive guy, I can do whatever it can to get you. Look up on the banner there. There's
What the world.
That's an iguana crawling over Chase right now. That's just kind of cool. That's very cool. I'll try to get it on videotape.
Just stay up there.
Yeah, right. But there's I'm all for it. That way, if you get rid of that, it's done. Because now you don't know what's going on. You can do whatever you want. Once you start going down the field, you can do whatever you want. It'll never happen. We'll never see that. But if both guys can fight for the ball, that way you get rid of pass interference. And I can shove you down. I can push you down. Imagine Derek Mason, our good friend Derek Mason, if that rule was abolished.
I'd love to know his answers on
Guy
that.
fought for the ball.
Yeah.
Got mad when he didn't get the ball.
Yeah.
Got mad when you got the ball, the
Yeah.
defender. But, I mean, guys like that, I'd like to see how they react. Like, get rid of that pass interference. It'll never happen. I know it's nonsense, but I'd love to see. Just go. That way everybody can fight for the ball no matter what happens. That ball's coming down. I shove you away. I catch it. Hey, I catch the ball. You shove me away. It's like backyard football.
It's back. You're right. You're going back to the basics.
Yes.
Coming up next, he's got a lot of info. He's ready for this. Brett Kern, former Titans punter, is going to join us to talk about the Titans and their loss yesterday. We'll hang out with the iguana. Iggy is what we call him.
You okay, Chase?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm just you don't have to worry about me going to sleep now. We'll do all that in hour number 2. Chase and Big Joe live at Hogfish Bar and Grill in Key West, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Hour number 2, Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game here on this Reaction Monday. We're live at the Hogfish Bar and Grill in Key West on Stock Island. He's Big Joe. I'm Chase McCabe. Dr. Crane, Nick Frazier is back at the studios. Titans lose to the Washington Commanders 42-19. It was 21-0 at the end of the first quarter, and then basically 28-0 shortly after that. We say hello now to former Titans punter Brett Kern, who is on the line with us. Brett, wasn't pretty yesterday. How you doing?
Well, I mean, is it easier to analyze the Titans game from sunny Key West, Florida? I mean, I just had to take my golf clubs out of the garage and keep them in my house because it's getting too cold outside. So, is it better down there? Is it easier?
Yeah, it's easier. We got iguanas chasing us around. I mean, we're good. We're living life.
Oh, that's rough. I'm out this morning, scraping the ice off my car with my Costco card. So I think you guys will make it. So
I think we will be fine. What really stood out to you, especially in that first quarter, where they had mistakes compounded other mistakes, and they just simply could not get anything going?
Yeah, I mean, I was curious to see how, Washington would show up. I think last week I was talking about, they're just coming off a tough loss. Let's see how they rebound, right? But Philly was 7-2. They lost a tough one to Pittsburgh, then Philly, and then Dallas. And, they're heading into their bye week. And so obviously, clearly by how they came out yesterday, they did not want to go into their bye week with 4 losses. And that's a playoff caliber team, right? And the Titans just came out and just got smacked in the mouth. Down early, 2 turnovers early, gave them great field position. And, the next thing you know, by the time they actually started playing some football, it was 28-0. And from that point, you outscore them 19-14 or 19-14, at the end of the game. But I mean, it's just, it's too late. And so, it just wasn't a good showing. And it was just tough to see, tough to watch.
What did your chart tell you? That your stat chart? I'm sure it had some info.
Yeah, well, I mean, they lost all 3, so they went 0-3 yesterday. They lost to QBR. Clearly, did not win the rushing battle yesterday. 67-35, and they lost the turnovers. So that's going to give you, a loss. And they also lost obviously in the turnover battle, which they were down 1 in the turnovers. Which if you're -1, you only have a 32% chance to win. So. I really, after the game, I was just kind of like, what, without really getting into players specifically, who did this, who did that, I think it's just more collectively for me, comparing the Titans where they're at, especially the 2 big categories for me are the turnover margin and the penalties, right? And so how does that stack up against the rest of the league? And so I kind of, was just kind of digging around and looking at teams that are, that we consider, a Super Bowl contenders, and teams that are, in the playoffs, but maybe not necessarily contenders. And then you got teams that are, already their guys are already looking at what they're going to do in their off-season vacation plans, right? And so, you look at penalties. The Titans are the worst. Baltimore's got 105, but the Titans have 100. But then you look at teams that are struggling in penalties, like Baltimore, the Texans, Seattle, Packers, Broncos, Steelers. They're all top 10 in penalties, so they have 80 plus. Now, are they good enough to overcome those penalties? I mean, probably, yeah. Are the Titans good enough to overcome their 100, right? Not really. But do we consider any of those teams saying like, hey, these teams are Super Bowl contending teams, right? Whereas you look at like Philly, Buffalo, Kansas City, they're all top 10 in the least amount of penalties. They're in the mid-60s with penalties, right? Now you say, well, what about Detroit? Well, Detroit is 15th, but where Detroit is really successful in? Them and the Lions have the least amount of pre-snap penalties with 18, right? You look at the Titans, they have 39. Ooh. So you look at the correlation there. All right, so you have some teams that are pretty good. They're going to be in the playoffs, but the penalties might kind of hold them back a little bit, right? And then you have some teams that are doing really good in penalties, with not getting penalties, right? You look at the Philly, Chiefs, Lions, right? Buffalo. Okay. I think we can all agree that those 4 teams are probably, going to be playing football in late January, potentially February. February, right? So then 11 of those teams are currently in the playoffs with the Rams. I don't know what you want to. I don't know what you guys think about the NFC West and the NFC South, right? You got the Rams, Arizona, Seattle. They're all battling, and then you really have Atlanta and Tampa Bay kind of having a pillow fight to try to get first place. So 11 of those teams are playoff teams. You have the Saints at +2, and somehow the Bears are at +10 just after firing their coach, which is probably why they fired their coach. They're +10, and then you have the Rams at +3. So I think personally the Rams are low in penalties, and they're +3 in the margin. It wouldn't surprise me at all if they win that division. Now you have 18 teams that are in the negative. 3 of those teams are playoff teams. So you have the Chiefs at -4, but they're also extremely low in penalties. Seattle at -6 and Atlanta at -6. You have Arizona at -1 and Tampa Bay at -1. Like I said, it wouldn't surprise me, if I said the Rams with the +3 turnover margin, and I also think Tampa Bay at -1. They're also pretty low penalties as well. Wouldn't surprise me if Tampa Bay wins that division either. So there's clearly a correlation between the penalties and turnovers, and you just look at the Titans yesterday. You have 12 of them. Half of them they were able to overcome, right? You had 2 penalties on a drive, stupid penalties, extended the drive, but the Commanders missed a field goal, right? So, I mean, you have that kind of stuff. They had 2 offensive penalties. Somehow the Titans were able to go down, a deep pass on 3rd and long to Ridley. NWI scores a little bit. So they're able to overcome some of the penalties, not 12 of them, right? This is
Right.
too much. So I just found it interesting, kind of where the Titans are at and some of the things that, you want to take this team to the next level besides your roster and obviously the moves that you have to make. But a huge thing to look at is turnovers and penalties.
We're talking to former Titans punter Brett Kern here on the Chase and Big Joe show. Brett, I know Jeff Simmons is a friend of yours. You played with him for a couple of years. But I have a problem with the comment about we were hungover from last week's win at Houston, which affected us on a Sunday. I'm trying to make that work in my mind, Brett, but somehow I don't want to hear that. Does that make sense?
100%. Yeah. I mean, I don't blame you. It's, I know last week was a big game. I know it is because I played, Houston, 13 times, 26 times. Right. And so I understand how important that game is. I know how important it is to ownership and how huge it is, especially when you go down to Houston. And it's a big game. It's just, I understand how you feel. I mean, that would, as a fan, that'd probably bother me. But, that's the difference between a team that's, you're looking at, trying to win a division, you want to be talked about in January and, into February, and teams that don't struggle with that kind of thing, and the Titans do. That's why, that comment was made. And the good teams, it's on to the next team. It's on to the next, who's next on the list? Who are we taking down, right? I mean, you look at Buffalo last night. Most teams are like, man, I don't really want to play in that snow. And Buffalo's, I mean, they practiced in it all week and they went out and completely dominated San Francisco.
Yeah, it's something to watch that game last night. That's happening. Brett, it's kind of funny how the narrative has changed on Will Levis these last couple of weeks because you see a guy who's battling behind an offensive line that's not very good, receivers dropping passes, yet that dude is kind of still standing in there. And Chase read a stat earlier that Terry McCormick had over a 17-game season, how his stats are, if you just projected that, how good that would be. Your thoughts on him and how this narrative has kind of changed the last few weeks on Will Levis?
Yeah, real quick. It would be, if taking what he did the last 4 weeks over 17 games, 302, a 489, a 61.9 completion percentage, 30 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 4,080 yards.
Yeah, I mean, that's gosh, if you could get that during the season, that'd be pretty darn good, right? So I think that all that shows you is like the potential is there. So it's like how, like yesterday, I think, there were some drops. There were some throws that were off, right? And so you're going to have that. And I think sometimes too, I even heard Jason McCourty, on the broadcast, like sometimes he's in the pocket and, he wants to get out. It's more like picking. It's like when you see Mahomes, right? And like Josh Allen, like the pockets collapse and you're like, yep, they're toast. And the next thing you know, they find the smallest little sliver And they either run for 15, 20, like what Mahomes did against Carolina last week, or you get Josh Allen that runs and he scores touchdowns, right? Or they somehow, Lamar Jackson, they find this little sliver and you throw it 40 yards downfield to Zay Flowers, right? And I think Will's trying to figure that part of the game out too, because there's sometimes where, I'm not taking the right angle in the pocket. I could have maybe stepped this way or through this lane to throw to this guy, but instead, he might step backwards and throw it, and then it's kind of an off-target throw. So I think he's starting to learn that too. But, I think the potential's there. I mean, those are some great stats. I mean, it's kind of like, it's kind of dangerous to maybe think like, oh, this is what he could be over 17 games. Well, he's got to stay healthy for 17 games. That's the biggest part, right? And then the next thing is like, can he produce at that level for 17 games? So that's an encouraging stat. That's also one that could be a little dangerous, thinking like, yep, this is what my quarterback can do, and this is what he can do for 17 games when he hasn't done it yet. So, but I think personally over the last 3-4 games, he's definitely played a lot better since he's come back from the break. And I think that's all you can ask for, and that's encouraging to see.
Do you see enough to say, I'm good with him being the guy in 2025? Maybe you bring in a stronger backup, you find an insurance policy similar to when Tannehill was brought in, whatever, but that he's the guy going into 2025. Are you confident enough to say that at this point?
I mean, I'll flip it on you guys. Do you think there are greater needs on this team than quarterback?
1,000%.
Yeah, right.
So
I mean,
I think that
they don't have a right tackle.
Right. I think too, like, especially where you fall in the draft, and it's not like Jaden Daniels, CJ Stroud, type quarterback is going to be out there in the draft, right? And so do you really want to spend a first round pick on a quarterback that you're kind of, maybe not, when you fall into that cycle again, right? Where, you just, to me personally, I think, you got to build. You got to build in the trenches. That's where games are won. You need some O-line, you need some D-line depth, because, like, you got guys that are leaving. Guys are on one-year contracts, all that kind of stuff. And really, you got Big Jeff and Sweat that are kind of your anchors that are going to be there under contract. So there's a lot of pieces that need to be filled. And I just think that, you build your team through the draft. You look what the Bills have done through the draft and where they're at now. And it's just, you need other pieces. And so I think why not keep him for 2025? If he keeps playing the way he's playing, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. Brett, great stuff. I know you put a lot of research in for today. Really good info, and we appreciate it.
Yeah, you guys, hope you sunscreen up and come back with a good farmer stand.
We will. No worries about that. Thanks, Brett. Appreciate it.
Take care.
Brett Kern, former Titans punter, joining us here on the program as he does every Monday at 10 o'clock. We'll react to some of the things he had to say. Continue to take your reaction. The Titans lose in Washington 42-19, 615-737-1025. That's our phone and text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. We're live today at Hogfish Bar and Grill on Stock Island in Key West here on the Chasing Big Joe Show, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3, The Game, live today at Hogfish Bar and Grill in Key West, Florida.
Yes.
Show on the road.
We did. Many thanks to our good friends over at Ocean's Edge, Key West. The resort is perfect. 175 rooms and suites, stunning ocean views. They have 6 saltwater pools, free kayaking, paddleboarding, yoga, and shuttles to Key West every day. I'm telling you, when you want an incredible trip but don't have a passport, we got your answer. Ocean's Edge, Key West. You can see them online at oceansedgekeywest.com. It is just beautiful and as perfect as it could be.
We'll get back into the Titans in a second. It was a wild final weekend of the regular season in college football. The whole reason we were down here, we were in Miami as the Blue Raiders took on FIU. Lost in their final game of the year. FIU won that game and then turned around and fired their head coach, Mike McIntyre. Of course, they know that name from Nashville. Is his dad, is that right? It was George
Yes.
McIntyre that coached Vanderbilt
from 79 to 85. I got to let go. A bigger thing this weekend, we talk about this, was the planting of the flag. A lot of
Yes.
road teams won. South Carolina won. Florida won. Texas won on the road. Michigan beat Ohio State on the road. And they're planting the flag and all the things that happened afterwards that went on. And Nick, you're going to get mad at me, and I'm so sorry, friends. But if you don't want that to happen, win the game. Clemson lost their mind because South Carolina then beat them. Don't let them do that. And when they do that, that's what's going to happen. Now, Sarkisian at Texas didn't allow their guys to do that. They went and celebrated in the corner in front of like the band and the fans over there and didn't allow that to happen. And I get that because you probably saw what happened after Michigan, Ohio State. Yeah, there are some knuckleheads that gets out of hand. I understand that. But if it's me, if you come to my house and you beat me, you can plant a flag. Because you beat me. I'm done, Act a fool because that's going to be a 180. I'm going to go to your house one day and do that. So get ready.
Yeah. The Big Ten has fined both Ohio State and Michigan $100,000 each because of everything that happened. I mean, there were cops pulling out pepper spray and
right.
It got crazy. And then you just saw it throughout the day that teams were trying to do that.
Make a stand.
My take on it is I agree with you. If you don't like it, then don't lose the game. Stop it. But it's also a little unnecessary at the same time because it's going to trigger people. You know what the outcome is going to be, and so I think there's a classy way to win and a classy way to lose. And while again, I agree, you can do something about it, but at the end of the day, maybe it's just not worth it.
You want the effort to go and pull the flag away from the team? Then where was that effort during the game?
Yeah, I give you.
Yeah, look. I'm telling you, I'm going to beat you 100-0, and I'm going to plant the flag. You don't like it, you beat me.
Yeah,
you come in my house and do that, you win. Plant 10 flags.
Right.
Make me even more mad. I don't care, but that's my bottom line on this. Now, I'm not a fan of I know some guys get upset, but the Ohio State Michigan thing was ridiculous.
Yeah, it got out of hand.
And
that's what I'm saying is like, while I agree with you, if they can't, if it's going to get out of hand like that every time when somebody tries to do that, then just don't do it.
Oh, I agree.
It's just not worth it.
So now there's some projections about Tennessee possibly hosting Ohio State. Could you imagine? I'm telling you, and I've covered Tennessee football for a long time. There will not be a bigger game in our generation up to this point than that college football playoff on a Saturday if Tennessee hosts. If it's Indiana, which I hope it is, it'd be great. If it's Ohio State on that day, oh my goodness, man. Coming into Neyland on a Saturday afternoon whenever they're going to play, unbelievable. Just thinking about that atmosphere and that crowd on that Saturday.
The one thing this playoff is going to give us is it's going to give us some matchups that we've only dreamed about, that we've never seen before.
Yeah.
Like whether it's Tennessee going to the shoe or Ohio State coming here. Now we got a rooster coming down.
2 iguanas and a rooster. It's like a Saturday night.
It's our show.
It's a Saturday night at Chase's house. That's going on. No, I'm with you on that. And that's the exciting part about this. But you know who's got on easy street right now? Notre Dame.
Oh, yeah.
No conference championship to play for. They are where they are. They're going to get in. Not worry about it. And now the conference this weekend's going to be good with conference championships. Clemson and SMU.
Yeah, you're gonna have you're basically gonna have teams that are gonna get in that probably didn't deserve to get in, but because of the automatic bid, they're gonna get in. Like the Big 12 championship game, because BYU just peed down their leg down the stretch. Either Arizona State or Iowa State is going to get in from the Big 12.
Love it.
And then you got Clemson, or SMU probably deserved it. Clemson was on the fringe, but one of them's going to get in because Miami lost.
That's right.
And then who knows if Miami still gets in?
Love it. Every bit of that. Does that come out Sunday night?
Yeah,
Sunday night, and then we'll know the Music City. And we talk about the fall off of this, the Music City Bowl. Could you imagine Nebraska and Florida, the Music City Bowl, Nebraska and Arkansas, Oklahoma and Nebraska, the Music City Bowl?
Oh, an old Big 12 rivalry.
Holy cow, that game would sell out within 12 hours.
Yeah.
So they've created the chaos, which is fun. We like it. And I can't wait till Sunday night, man, because it's going to be chaos again to a next level. But I'm telling you, that Saturday in Neyland, woo!
I realized something Saturday that it just hit me like this makes so much sense. College football is better with Texas versus Texas A&M. It just is. And I'm glad it's back. I didn't care about that rivalry as much as I do now that they're in the SEC. But watching that game and just, everything that goes into it and like the hatred that those two teams have for each other.
Oh, yeah.
College football is better off.
I would like to see, I like that. But again, we talked Oklahoma, Nebraska was one that I grew up on.
Yeah.
You watch it at the end of the year, and Big 8 game was always the winner always went to the Orange Bowl. And so that's why I love to see them because the Music City Bowl. But A&M and Texas, that atmosphere watching, oh my goodness.
What other coaches you think are going to be showing the door?
I don't think any – I talk Stoops. I'm 50-50 on him, but
I don't think so.
But that's it. To me, that's the only coach that Pittman's got him to a bowl game. I wouldn't be shocked to let him go at Arkansas. I would not be shocked, but he's got him into a bowl game.
I think that this could be the first year, maybe in a long time, that there are no coaching openings in the SEC unless somebody leaves, like on their own, like to go.
Yeah.
Like if Brian Kelly left and went somewhere.
Yep.
Michigan's not going to be open now. I can tell you that.
No, not now. Not now to do that.
That one's good. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting. The portal is opening up, and so players are they're starting to declare that they're leaving for the portal. MTSU wide receiver Amari Kelly has said he's going to enter the portal, so he's going to transfer. I think that team's going to look a lot different next year anyway.
Well, it is. Plus, for guys, look, when you enter the portal, you lose your scholarship. But I don't fault guys for going to see what their value is.
Yeah,
I don't.
Sure.
I don't. Not at all.
He could come back.
They could come back. Yeah. And then, but like people, they do it in the corporate world all the time.
Right.
So, it's fine if you do it in the portal. Corporate world, people do it all the time. They leave and go see what their value is and come back and all that. But knowing when you enter the portal, you lost your scholarship and you might not get it back. So there's all these things that go into the factors line. But if you think you're better and we'll go to the next level, I'm all for you believing in yourself. All for it.
100%. 615-737-1025. We're going to get back into the Titans. They lose yesterday 42-19 to the Washington Commanders. Some comments that were made after the game. Big Joe and I didn't like them, and I don't think you do either. We'll discuss that and much more. We're live at Hogfish Bar and Grill in Key West on Stock Island. It's the Chasing Big Joe show presented by the Omni Nashville Hotel, 1025-1063 The Game.
So I don't think guys was locked in anymore. I think guys let the cold get to them. Because, I mean, I'm a Florida guy. I don't like the cold, but I know what comes with playing in this profession. And sometimes, you're going to have to play through things that you don't like. And I think guys let the cold affect them. A lot of guys ain't going to say it, but that's what I think happened.
Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
Apparently, it's supposed to this afternoon.
Who said that?
It was Jarvis Brown.
He called out his teammates.
Jason Big Joe, 1025, 1063 the game. Yep. Sure did.
I love it. Let the cold affect them. I mean, that's ridiculous. You're a professional football player and letting the cold affect you.
Do I have no doubt that it was cold? Of course. I don't like the cold either. But you're a football player and
you paid a lot of money.
That's what you got to go do.
Right. Cold for Washington.
Do what you got to do to stay as warm as you can. I mean, like, I look and I watch these guys that are out there sleeveless. I'm like, well, that's kind of on you, man.
Right. You're right. And I wish I'm not allowed to bet, but if I did, that Buffalo San Francisco game, you could easily tell who wanted to be there and who didn't. And like, well, Buffalo's used to it. Tell you, it's football. Once the ball snapped, I'm telling you, I played in cold and hot. You forget about what goes on. It's about what's happening right now because you'll warm up quick enough. But that's just to come out and say the guy's letting that cold affect him yesterday. I'd want to know who it was. I'd lie detector test every player. Did you say it? Did you mean that? Did you feel that?
I think one of the greatest scenes in football is if a snow game like we saw last night, which was so much fun.
Yeah.
And you look and you see guys that there's snow in their beard or ice hanging off their beard, steam coming off their head because it's so cold. That is just such a cool visual.
Remember when the Titans played the Browns and it snowed so much and Eddie had that big day? Derek was there. Yes, was good. They loved that. Yeah, they hated the cold.
Derek probably didn't.
But you watch Eddie run up and down the field and do all that stuff. You're thinking, oh, man, this is incredible. So just quit using an excuse.
Yeah.
Quit being a giant baby. Stop. It's really sad. It's a bad look for your football team.
If you guys are curious, the kickoff temperature was about the exact same as Nashville's weather on Sunday. So just putting that out there.
By the way, speaking of Nashville's weather, how is that? Because I've seen a dusting may come. So is the city shut down yet, or
not that I know of? I mean, looking out the window from what I can, it's pretty sunny out there. I'm pretty sure it's cold, but I mean, when I drove into work, I had my windows down. I mean, people probably think I'm crazy, but
you are.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we it's all right.
But that's why you hang with us.
Yeah,
that's why we like you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Hey, grab me a pet iguana and bring it back. How about that?
Okay.
I've never seen Chase McCabe scared of something in my life the way he's scared of this iguana. Look, iguana's on top of an awning and it's sunning. He couldn't give two you-know-whats about chasing
one
myself.
Jumped off, and now I don't even know where the other one is.
Well, it's not coming. He's not going to look at you and think,
it's going to get in your bag. It's going to show up while
they
wake up in the morning
harmless.
with an iguana staring at me.
They're harmless. The passenger princess will survive.
You will hear a scream
with all that with today. So no, but it is nice down here, and we were fortunate enough to be down here. Thanks to our friends at the Hogfish Bar and Grill, letting us come down here today. But it's like if you go to Miami, right? It's going to be 90 degrees. You play down there. You know what do you not look at the temperature ahead of time? On the Monday, you
probably should.
Yeah, you should. Did they show up yesterday at Washington damn, it's cold. I didn't know it was going to be cold up here. I mean, are you that dumb? I don't know. Then to admit it,
it's what we like to call an excuse.
Yep,
that's what it was.
Yeah,
it was an excuse. Just sit there and go, "Hey, it was cold. That sucked, but we got our ass beat."
Bottom line,
at the end of the day, that's what happened.
Yep.
You got your ass beat.
I mean, you're down 21-0 the first quarter, and it was just sad.
It was sad. I mean, you're fumbling and stumbling. I mean, everything was happening.
Right. We sat next to a big group of Redskins.
Well, they had Redskins stuff.
They did.
That may be a thing again. I don't know.
You're right. And we're like, hey, we're Titans fans. And I was like, hey, we don't talk. We don't jive talk because we have nothing. They're like, yeah, neither do I. We don't do anything. We don't do anything either because, we don't celebrate because we've been on a bad streak. But it was kind of weird, Chase, sitting there. I think there were at least 12 other fan bases there We had nothing to cheer for.
No.
And look, we want the Titans to succeed. We want them to
We
win
could have
games.
been like the Vikings fans, and every time they snap the ball, yeah, let's go.
Every single. Then I started rooting for the Vikings to lose because of them. But it was just sad watching that. You're down 20, and then you rally back a little bit, kind of make it some sort of a ball game. But it's just, I can't blame Callahan for yesterday. I want to blame the head coach, but he had the guys ready to go. And then you got to go down and give the effort. And there was no effort. And that's what I'm mad about. No effort.
Yeah.
I hate that.
I know. That's just what drives me crazy is with that. But where do you go from here? I mean, you got Jacksonville. Now they're in the stretch of the schedule that I don't really know. I have no idea. They're going to be coin flips, basically.
We got the Colts again. You got Jags twice. You got Houston. Is that it?
Yeah, so Jags are here on Sunday. Bengals are here the following week. At Indy, at Jacksonville, Houston.
All those games will be on Nick Jr. if you want to watch them, because not a lot of people are going to care about him. Not at all. But look, you talk about if Levis is the guy going forward,
yep,
which I think he should be, because you kind of build around him. And you can, he's not the guy. Tell me why he's not the guy. I want to know why you think he's not the guy now. Right now, I'm not saying he's going to be Tom Brady and be there for 10 years. Tell me why he's not the guy for next year.
You could still, for next year. I'm talking about next year. I think he's the guy for next year because I think we can all agree that this team has way too many other problems that they need to address before they go and look at quarterback again. Again, if you want to sign, if there's a veteran out there that you think can come in and be a backup, a stronger backup than Mason Rudolph, do it.
Yeah.
Or an insurance policy.
I'm
Do
with
it.
you.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But they need receivers. They need a right tackle. They need a guard. They probably need a center because Cushenberry's hurt right now. But, I guess Brunskill's good enough.
Right.
They probably could use another corner because the ones they signed and traded for are hurt.
Got Daryl Worley.
They got he can sing and play corner.
Saturday night at the Opry, Sunday at Nissan Stadium.
Need more linebacker depth.
You didn't. We just say they need a whole new team.
Yeah, they basically need to do what they did last offseason again and do it.
Well,
better.
so now you could finish up. You get a little draft capital.
Yeah.
If you get a position where a team wants a quarterback, okay, I'll trade your quarterback. Give me this, and this, and just gobble up draft picks. You build your team, the foundation, through the draft. And we go back, the Herschel Walker trade, which will never happen again. But look what it did for the I remember when they made that trade, like, why Herschel Walker? And you're like, Vikings gave up all that for Herschel Walker?
Yeah.
Maybe find a dumb trade partner who's out there who's going to take that for you if you have that nice draft position and somebody wants a quarterback and do all that. Possibilities are endless. But once you get a quarterback going forward, I think right now, 25, let's put the quarterback talk aside. Because I don't want Cam Ward. I don't want anybody else.
I don't think the question you have to ask yourself is, are any of these guys coming into this draft class, do you view them as better than Will Levis right now, today? And the answer to that question is no.
100% no.
615-737-1025. 0900 says, love hogfish. My son is in the Navy in Key West.
Oh, nice.
Cool. Thanks for listening. Appreciate your son's service.
Maybe he can help me take Chase back to the hotel room when he's stumbling down Duval Street tonight. I'm kidding.
It will be fine. Okay. Weird text coming in. We're live today.
Read all weird texts.
No, I can't. Hogfish Bar and Grill on Stock Island in Key West. Coming up next, celebrity birthdays. What day is it? We always love this. We'll do that next. Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3, The Game. Nashville's best deals is from Tito's Mexican restaurant, known for its vibrant flavors and festive atmosphere. They bring the heart of Mexico to Middle Tennessee. Enjoy mouthwatering tacos, sizzling fajitas, and delicious enchiladas, all served with a side of authentic Mexican flair. Get half off a $25 gift card now while supplies last at thegamenashville.com/deals. Chase and Big Joe, we're live at Hogfish Bar and Grill in Key West on Stock Island.
Shout out to Ocean's Edge Key West Resort for housing the Chase and Big Joe show. I mean, just an amazing place. 175 rooms and suites, stunning ocean views, 6 saltwater pools, free kayaking, paddleboarding, and yoga, shuttles every hour to downtown Key West and back. And as I say, when you want an incredible trip but don't have a passport, Ocean's Edge Key West is where you need to go. On the website, Ocean's Edge Key West.com. And this morning, Chaser outside our window, our balcony, beautiful.
It was awesome. I mean, looking out at the ocean.
Yeah.
Just what a way to wake up.
And your snoring, waking up all the fish in the harbor was beautiful because they were all around too as well today.
Well, I'm glad I could help
Good
give
Lord.
everybody a wake-up call for sure. With that, let's get to what day is it and celebrity birthdays.
All right, gentlemen. First on the list, we have Business of Popping Corn Day. So, make a popcorn business. Cyber Monday is next, obviously, so today.
Get some deals.
Yeah, got some 35% off, 65% off. Hey, this show's free. Let's see.
That's
International.
for shopping, Dr. Craig.
Well, yeah, I'm not free. Yeah, none of us are free. You're right. Thank you, Chase. International Day of Abolishing Slavery. So there you go for that.
Amen.
National Fritters Day. Good little fritter. I could do that right now. Let's see. National Mutt Day is next. Let's see. Play Basketball Day. Not a basketball guy. Safety Razor Day. The short people. We go for other things. Safety Razor Day is next. And then Special Education Day for that, and Walt Disney Day. So how about all those?
Walt Disney Day is well done. We're going to be joined by the owner of Hogfish here in just a moment. We're going to do celebrity birthdays to get it going before we do that. All right, you boys ready?
I'm ready. Let's
All
go.
right, first birthday today. How old is Pedro Bourbon?
Pedro Bourbon is 52.
60.
78. O.J. McDuffie, former Dolphins receiver.
71.
64.
55. Monica Seles.
Who's Monica Seles?
She's a tennis player.
Huh.
She's the one that got stabbed? I think she was.
52.
55.
She's 50. Chases up 1-0. Aaron Rodgers, Captain Weirdo.
40.
44.
40 exactly. Chase knows his weirdos. This is for you, Chase. Greg Barton, because you like the way I kayak this morning. Greg Barton is an Olympic kayaker.
Oh. 37.
34.
65. Both missed it. Lucy Liu, the actress.
55.
58.
56. Chase up 4-0. Who else? Let's see what we got here. My computer is really slow today, kind of like me. Nelly Furtado. Is that
different Nelly?
Different.
Sorry. 44.
I don't know. 55. I thought you were talking about Nelly the rapper.
Me too.
55.
46. Chases up 5-0. Britney Spears.
Oh, I know this. 42.
46.
43. Chase up 6-0. Look at you, Chase. You should come to Key West more often and hang out at Hogfish because you're killing it right now. Don't know who that is. Don't know who that is. All right, more celebrities here for us. We got going on here. Let's see here. News anchor Stone Phillips. Remember him?
Oh, yeah. What a name. 63.
67.
70. Actor Stephen Bauer. He was Scarface. He was his best friend in Scarface.
72.
71.
68. And finally, bass player Rick Savage of Def Leppard.
64.
63.
Chase killed it 8-0. Good job. Good job. 8-0, all that. Do you want to come on for a second, if you don't mind, real quick? All right, we're bringing the owner of Hogfish, who's allowed us to be down here today. Thank you for this. We appreciate you. Now tell the folks back in Nashville who you are and what you do.
Hey, my name is Bobby Mangelli. I'm the owner down here, Hogfish Bar and Grill in downtown Stock Island. And we also own Rustica Pizzeria right up the street here. So it's it's Italian wood-fired pizza place.
We've getting comments today, people about Hogfish. I mean, back in Nashville, what makes this place so special?
Well, this place is kind of like the way Key West used to be, like 40, 50 years ago, that open air, tiki, not air conditioned, cool. We got water surrounding us on all three sides. It's actually a working waterfront, which you don't find a lot now with these bars that are coming up. They're all, around fancy condo places and stuff like that. But this is actually a working waterfront. Across the way, we have shrimp boats, lobster boats, yellowtail boats. So it's kind of neat. It's a neat place to hang out. And you know why? Because we always got fresh seafood. There's always somebody wheeling and dealing some fresh seafood. We got stone crab boats over here too.
That's amazing.
That's amazing.
You guys are so popular. I mean, there's a lot of people, like I said, in Middle Tennessee that know about Hogfish. Was that your goal when you started out with this place, is to make it a destination for people?
Actually, we had a bar in Key West. We started in the late 80s called PT's Late Night. And it had a good run down there, 17 years. And got nailed by a big storm in 2005. We had about 2 feet of water in there, and one thing led to another. The economy collapsed in 2008, and we opened up this little shrimper bar up here, 37-seat shrimper bar. That's what it used to be.
Right.
So when the sun went down, if you were a woman, you didn't hang out here. I had a little kitchen behind the bar, and it was really, really funky the way Key West used to be. But we kind of cleaned it up a little bit and rebuilt this whole big complex that you see here right now. About 150 seats.
That's great. Thank you for having us today.
No problem, Joe. You come highly recommended from our boys in Nashville.
Oh, you're
Mac
sweet.
And Jimmy, I used to work for Jimmy, so you guys come highly recommended down here. We appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
And I think you guys are going to do another show tomorrow.
Yes, sir, we are.
Here tomorrow.
Are you ready to eat some fresh grouper and mutton snapper?
You're not. Twist my arm, Bobby.
All right, guys. All right.
All right. Thank you, Bobby.
Thanks. We'll talk to you.
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
Absolutely. Thanks
That's
so much
awesome.
for having us. Appreciate it. That is going to do it for us today, but don't go anywhere, because you know that the reaction, the Titans reaction, I can't wait to hear Derek. I mean, obviously everybody else too, but D Mace reacting to, it's too cold.
Too cold. My goodness.
We had a hangover from the win against Houston.
Yeah. Right. Bring it, Derek.
Wide receiver translator may not be needed today.
That's right.
I think you're going to know. But again, thanks to Hogfish for having us and Ocean's Edge as well. We're going to stay one more day. We'll be here tomorrow.
We'll be here tomorrow
on Key West.
Yes, we will. As we leave our show every day, to our guys out there, listen, we know if you're struggling or something's going on, please talk to somebody. We tell you every day on your cell phone. You can call 988. You can text 988. You can reach out to us, anybody. And we say God has you on this earth for a specific purpose. And your journey is yours, and it's beautiful. If you're struggling, I understand that, but please reach out and know that you are tremendously loved. And if something happened to you, you'll be tremendously missed. We're always here for you. We love you, and more importantly, God loves you.
Amen to that. Peace, love, rock and roll DVD coming up next. 102.5, 106.3 The Game.